What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I'm going to talk to you about Polestar. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on whether this sell-off is justified and whether right now is a good time to buy or not. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Polestar right now is down 7.26%. A lot of volume though. So 5.5 million shares being traded within the first about 1 hour of the trading day. 3.7 is the average. This is very misleading. If someone saw this, they would be under the impression that maybe bigger institutions are buying, but that's not the case. Because as I brought up over the last couple of videos, I think it was like 2 weeks ago and 1 month ago, I said big money is not looking at Polestar whatsoever. So these are some of the transactions that are on the secondary market above $100,000. So ultimately, big money is just overlooking Polestar still. So a lot of the volume that's being done today and just over this last several weeks is due to algorithmic trading. So bigger institutions and the algorithm is being told to pretty much bring Polestar down. And so that's not necessarily the best. Today there has been no news, but on Friday they did put this out saying that Polestar acknowledges receipt of deficiency notice from the NASDAQ. So they have 60 days to submit that. So it's not that big of a deal, but the fact that they haven't submitted it, that alone is what is spooking a lot of people. So the whole deficiency, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. They can just submit it. But the fact and the act of submitting it, like what the hell are they hiding? So I think a lot of people are very, very scared about Polestar and maybe about its future. And technically, like I said, this deficiency isn't that big of a deal, but with it close to that $1 mark, this is where that $1 bid price rule comes into play. Polestar might be needing to do a reverse stock split and go down that death spiral. My last two videos, I did actually say that Polestar, all the indicators pointed that Polestar was going to be trending down. My last one, I think, was on May the 2nd right here. And I said that it probably will be trending to this exact point. And lo and behold, here we are. So it kind of sucks. I really did like Polestar, and I've been saying this for a while now. It sucks to be a content creator talking about EVs, and especially Polestar. Like Polestar does have a generally like a good product. It just, the market is destined to absolutely hate it. And if you don't have institutions on your side and supporting it, then you are fucked. Pardon my French. So yeah, Polestar is just a very vicious cycle. And the weird thing is you're not even having shorts doubling down. Like it is at all-time highs right now, but ultimately 13% short interest, it's not that high compared to even Rivian, Lucid, like 13% isn't all that great. And cost to borrow average though is 385.86%. So despite the massively high cost to borrow, which is an annual rate on a side note, still shorts don't anticipate Polestar to do anything of substance. So this is why they're willing to pay these prices, because they probably anticipate it to do the whole reverse stock split and continue the death spiral down. So it is a unfortunate circumstance. It's been a while since I've covered Polestar, so I'll just give you a quick overview. So this is some of the latest analyst ratings. Last one was done 5 days ago by Citi. $1.70 price target. So still coming from an analyst standpoint, they don't really care. So let me know your thoughts on that. Latest Morningstar report though does show $2.33 being the fair market value, and that is based off of their assets. Of course, once we find out from their earnings, they'll maybe open up Pandora's box and change that dramatically. But as of right now, based on their last filing, it does show 2.33 as a fair market value. If you're looking for a lot of good compiled information, take a look at Interactive Brokers for all of this to be completely free. Link in the description below and also the comments. So definitely take advantage of that. So like I said, shorts aren't really even looking at Polestar as a long investment or whatever. One thing as well, I just wanted to bring up the short interest. So it does look like they typically, shorts at least, they hold on to their position. So it's one thing that if it's a lower number, so like 1 day for instance, that means that they're just day trading, but 8.89 days is the average. That goes to show that whoever is shorting Polestar is in it to pretty much bring it down. And so that's a very, very bad scenario in my opinion. But moving on, let's look at options. So right now there is about 10,000 in calls, 2,200 in puts. 77% of all the options being done so far are optimistic and bullish. So people are clearly betting that it is going to go up. somewhat, if that makes sense. So we'll just have to wait and see what does come from that. But looking at the open interest, you do see right now for this upcoming June the 21st, because unfortunately Polestar only has monthly options, you see there's a consensus for it to be above $1.50. So more of a recovery as far as that. So 4,000 in open interest at the $1.50, and then 14 at the 2. And then just to bring this up, like I already pointed out, institutions aren't really looking at Polestar on the secondary market. These are some of the transactions on the dark pool. So there was one transaction so far, 1.02 million, and a lot of this is associated to shorts. So whatever shorts are doing right now, they are pretty much piggybacking off of the algorithmic trading and just bringing Polestar down. On a technical level though, like I said, with it at $1.15, it is kind of staring off of a virtual cliff, and I've used that analogy in the past, but it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So $1.06 is going to be that next strong support that you'll want to watch for Polestar to hit, because there was a new 52-week and all-time low being created today at $1.13, but $1.21 will be also that next strong resistance / target. Kind of bounced off of that, the high today, so we do know that's a very strong resistance. So Polestar might struggle to potentially get above that in the next couple of days. That's if it does test it once again. But on the actual chart, it's been a slow downtrend. So typically what does happen if it goes outside the Bollinger Band, it causes a inverse reaction, such as what you can kind of see right here. So it kind of goes out, goes back in, kind of goes out, goes back in, and vice versa happens if it goes on the lower end. It typically does break out, but this whole downtrend right here has been somewhat controlled, like I said, because of algorithmic trading. So Polestar, like I like it, good product, but in my opinion, I think that it is destined for a reverse stock split, as what I did say in my previous video, I think like 2 weeks ago or whatever. So when it comes down to Polestar, I gotta say, I really do like the product itself. The management seems very smart. They're not business savvy, but they are smart. But the whole, like, the market is meticulous and just ruthless right now. They want efficiency, and Polestar isn't, and pretty much where they are, I think the whole EV sector is struggling. So it's a very crappy scenario for Polestar. And in my opinion, like I said at the very beginning, is right now a good time to buy or not? If you believe in Polestar's long-term plan, then yes, take advantage of this. It kind of does seem overdone, so it might have a nice potentially push to $1.20 once again, or maybe even to $1.30. But in the foreseeable future, I do not see at least it transitioning into the higher percentile. So there is probably still more pain coming, and that does pain me to say, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's just, Polestar is a very interesting, very interesting play. I was thinking about getting in on it just to swing it, but when it does go down, it tends to really go down. So this might be just Pandora's box to maybe bounce off of that $1 range, because $1 will be a very big psychological support, as what usually does happen. So it might bounce off that $1 at least in the short term. But yeah, Polestar, it's kind of like Russian roulette, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just a very interesting scenario. And like I said, this recent news about the whole deficiency isn't that big of a deal. So I see some people on like Twitter, for instance, bringing this up, saying that this is a very big deal. The deficiency itself is not a big deal, but the fact that they haven't submitted it because of maybe some fears or red flags, that is the concern, if that makes sense. So yes, the deficiency itself, like Polestar can easily just submit their actual earnings and this deficiency will go poof, like away. But yeah, I don't know. Polestar is a very risky play at this stage. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Let me know your thoughts on Polestar though. Are you a buyer at these prices? Are you a seller? Or do you think that Polestar is going to go belly up? I did previously bring this up on Seeking Alpha, right down here, the Altman Z score, or Z, depending on where you live, it is negative. So potentially based on this score, it does anticipate that Polestar is going to be heading to bankruptcy, at least in the future. Not short term, but obviously in the future. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.